What's up, everyone? I am your host, DJ, aka Sexy Bad Choices, aka the Summer Game Festivian. I made
Okay.
a word out of fest.
Mm.
Who else is here?
I am Sean MF Ross.
What the MF stand for?
I'm gonna go with Drilly Wonka again.
Oh, okay. An oldie but a goodie. I like that. Who else?
Jordan,
Jordan.
aka JXBot.
All right. And last up,
It's Avery.
nailed it. Nailed it as always. All right. You now know who the four of us are. Please tell us who you are by putting a comment down below and hitting the
You're a
like button, the subscribe
jackass.
button. Just say hi. That's all we ask. Press X Star Podcast is a weekly show where we talk about the latest gaming news, review the biggest games, and give you our thoughts on the games we are playing. Our goal is to expand the video game media landscape through an underserved point of view. With that being said, let us move over from the quick hits to the heavy hitter, which is the Summer Game Fest recap. Okay, so as I said earlier in this podcast, we at this point we have watched the PlayStation State of Play. I have watched the Devolver Digital Showcase. There was other showcases. There was the IGN. There was a Tribeca Games thing. There was a Day of Devs, and there's the PC gaming show that's happening right now. We also watched the Xbox and Bethesda Games Showcase. And tomorrow, from this date of recording, Capcom's going to have their showcase. So we won't be talking about the Capcom thing because that's in the future, and you know how the future works and how we
I
heard in
wonder
the
what they're gonna
past.
show if they already showed RE4 and Street Fighter.
Stuff.
Yeah,
Well, we remember they had their in the last state of play. They showed up a bunch of really small games that no one gave a shit about that they could easily fill in time for this. So
Oh yeah,
strap
their
in.
arcade thing. Yeah. And for me, there's a possibility of showing Dragon's Dogma 2. So that's the thing.
That's
That's
a
the
pipe
thing.
dream.
We'll see. We'll see. But so yeah, that is pretty much it. So we are going to talk about the showcases we have seen and our feelings on them and on the games they have shown. And then we can, rate them. We can even put them in an order of some sort where, it's not alphabetical. It's based off our feelings and our feelings. Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about the PlayStation State of Play. Now looking back on everything. Oh, I didn't even put the summer action, the Game Fest thing. Damn. Oh yeah. How's everyone feeling now that we've seen all this stuff about the PlayStation State of Play?
It is still my favorite show I watched in these last 2 weeks. I think despite it lacking first party bangers, the brevity of it, the brevity and the surprises that were in kept it something that I still remember every game in it, and I still look at it fondly. Even the games that I thought didn't look very good, I still remember fondly. Yeah.
Okay. Jordan, you watched the
yeah.
you did watch it. Okay.
I checked it out. I mean, I'm happy that people are able to experience Tunic. I think that was one of the highlights for me because I'm still working through Tunic myself. Stray looks great. Stray looks very fun. I love cat. Well, I'm not saying I love cats. Still there's one cat that
one special cat in your life.
I love cat. I love cat.
I'm not gonna let the experience of my neighbor's cat affect my experiences of all cats. But Stray does look cool. But yeah, Spider-Man remastered PC. That was a surprise that would come out this soon, I guess. But Sony was very explicit for why Nexus has been brought in to make great ports of great games. Spider-Man was one of those my top number 3 on my list for when it came out in 2018. And yeah, I'm excited to see how I don't want the modders to disrespect the game. I am excited for them to take the original Spider-Man's face or the Spider-Man before the remastered that model. And have it 4K and all that prettiness. But overall, it was fine. It was a fine showcase that expressed things outside the first party that brings value to having a PS5 or PlayStation 4 too. They're both 5 and 4 games there.
Okay. Okay. And then Sean?
Pretty much what Avery said. It was a solid showing. I have no complaints. Um, I'm just excited for PlayStation Plus to start tomorrow.
Yeah.
So
Oh, it
yeah,
does start tomorrow, doesn't it? Okay.
PlayStation Plus Premium.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Let's see what kind of day and date stuff we get.
Oh, you getting
Right.
Stray day and day?
Getting some cat to play with next month.
Yeah, like I also am in line with pretty much everything y'all said. Like I think it was a very strong showing. I think for me, I'm looking at um these showcases slash conferences in two lanes, right? There's the objective lane and then there's a subjective lane. I think objectively, the PlayStation Showcase was a great showing of games. Subjectively, not much of that was for me. So it is a thing of like, I'm not going to play Resident Evil. I'm not playing The Last of Us remake. Uh, Street
Wasn't shown
Fighter's
there.
pretty.
Last of Us remake wasn't shown there.
Oh, good point. You're right. You're right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Street Fighter, like that is Street Fighter and Final Fantasy 16 was pretty much the two things I'm just like, yeah, yeah, that's awesome. But neither of them are coming out this year. So there's that. But I think oh, actually no, let me go back and say Horizon Call of the Wild, Call of the Mountain. I think that was cool, but I've been kind of a toss up about getting PSVR 2 at least at launch. So that's definitely pushing me towards getting PSVR 2 for sure. Um yeah, I think overall they had a very strong showing. They had a number of games. I think I said it during our cast, like they had a good swath of games where everyone can pick like 2 or 3 games that they're really excited about. So,
Yeah.
I think, when you try to hit something like that and it succeeds, that's a very, very good thing. So, yeah, 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 overall, I was pretty positive on that as well. Um, all right, let's jump into the Summer Game Fest showcase. Let's start with the same lineup. Avery, how did you feel about the Summer Game Fest showcase, seeing how you watched it twice?
I watched it once again because I watched a bunch of people watch it just to see
Oh,
just to gauge,
Reactions.
yeah, just to gauge reaction to see if I was smoking boners for being underwhelmed. And no, I wasn't. I wasn't smoking boners. It was still an underwhelming show, so it's decreased from a 3 out of 10 to a 2 out of 10. I
oh,
think it's the
damn.
worst show that I think it's legitimately the worst paced and put together show that Jeff has ever done that I can remember. And despite there being a lot of cool and great games there, some of the greater
Mhm,
games that were shown there were just not shown in a way that made them interesting. Like I'm in the bag for Midnight Suns. I've been in the bag for that game since it was announced, and like
mhm.
we're months away from that game, and it was a CG trailer that told me absolutely nothing about the actual game itself. So I'm like,
The
Gotham Knights,
worst part is that literally when that trailer was shown, they dropped the whole embargo for the preview stuff. So people
yeah,
were showing gameplay, but not in the press con. It's like, why? It's
Whoops.
like, why?
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my gosh. I'm sorry, continue.
Yeah, and it's and like it's in general, and then like 2020 number one what the fuck video game moment of 2022 is still The Rock showing up to self promote himself for 5 minutes.
Brother.
So yeah, it goes in the I don't think there'll be, as long as the showcase doesn't go over 45 minutes, I don't think there will be a worse show this year.
Oh man. All right. Jordan, what was your take on Summer
Oh
Game
no,
Fest?
you can skip me. I didn't even watch it. I didn't even watch it. I just saw like the trailers after and the ones I was
Yeah.
interested in and looking at the list. Yeah, no, I didn't waste my time. Didn't know The Rock was there. I'm surprised. I mean,
Yeah.
Good thing Vin Diesel wasn't there. There would have been tension. But we have both of them in video games nowadays, so yeah. But also, oh yeah, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge. I'm interested in that game. It looks fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't waste my
It,
time
it
with Summer Games Pass.
it was very telling that you were looking up Summer Game Fest and had no idea The Rock was there.
No.
Yeah. Sean?
No comment.
Yeah, so
Okay.
again, looking at this, I'm looking at it objectively and I'm looking at it subjectively. Objectively, I'm totally in agreement with the no comment and what Avery is saying. It's like this wasn't a good showcase. It was just too long. There's a lot of games that didn't need to be shown. The games that
It was over 2 hours.
yeah, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. And like, yeah, it was a thing of, you know, I think in the most optimistic of lights, it's like Jeff Keighley had this time space and he felt the pressure and he felt the need to fill it up and just didn't have the wherewithal to see that he's doing a bad thing. So I'm hoping that he gets this feedback. He doesn't get defensive about the feedback and he takes the feedback and be like, okay, you know what? You're right. I do need to pull back. I need to make my next showcase next year an hour, maybe an hour and 5 minutes, but that 5 minutes better be goddamn fire. But like it just don't go past that and just
Well,
keep it moving and keep it
yeah,
strong.
I don't think we're ever going to get a Jeff Keighley production that's going to be less than an hour 30. I think an hour
Yeah.
is a sweet spot for a video game showcase.
Yeah.
Anything over that, it better be like banger. It better be banger versus banger versus banger, and
Yeah. Yeah. But subjectively, guys, I actually had a good time here. I had a good time. Mainly because I had the question of what was I going to see from Hoyle versus Zenless Zone Zero. And they showed me what that game was going to be. And that was the question, the answer that I got the answer to, and I was happy with.
Showed
They
you a
also
YouTube-
showed.
No,
Say
I'll let you
what?
finish. No, I was gonna say
Oh.
they showed you a Twitter clip. Like they showed you like something they would tweet out.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It answers an answer, Avery. That's all I wanted. That's all I wanted. Will I say the 2 hours was worth it for that 10, 15-second clip of the gameplay? No comment. The other games that they showed, being Modern Warfare 2, I also had a pop for this. Although this wasn't what I wanted to see. I think the mission itself was pretty flat. I did appreciate the moments of it being hyper realistic, like shooting the person and the dead body falling from the stairwell into the ground. It's like, oh, that thudded like a real body. Okay, all right, I can get ready for that. But then what I enjoyed most about this entire 2-hour experience was the fucking drip of Guile. That man, I have never been a Guile fan up until this moment. That dude is, man, when you pull out the comb and like this little hair thing, I was like, damn, I can do that to my hair right now. Do I dye my hair blonde? Do I become
Are you gonna
Guile?
cosplay? Yeah. Gully.
Do I join the military?
What sucks?
But yeah,
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. What
go,
sucks
no,
to
go
me,
ahead, go ahead.
Jeff, is that the Guile thing leaked after they announced that the PlayStation State of Play, so we already knew what he looked like.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like Jeff got it the worst. Like Kojima probably got it the second worst, but Jeff definitely got it the worst because his first thing leaked and his last thing leaked. I think Last of Us remake. I have my issues with it about it being a remake, but it does look really, really good. So like objectively, it's like, man, that's gonna be a banger. Um, but I'm also super interested in the factions thing because they only showed concept art, which bothered me. I really just wanted maybe like a 10-second clip of something happening in the world so I get a sense of what they're gonna give us as a game. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, because like if it's like a division kind of thing, I am down. You can sign me up. I will be playing the beta if there's a beta. But if it is going to be like factions, like their first go, I'm skipping that. I didn't enjoy factions. But yeah, that's pretty much my thing on Summer Games Fest Showcase. All right, did anyone else watch Devolver Digital?
I just saw the couple little clips that you posted. So
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not Marcus. I've been over the Devolver Digital thing after like the first time they did it. And
Yeah.
I think when they got Nina Struthers into the PlayStation 5 reveal, I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
let's close up shop. We're done here. But they just kept going.
Right.
And I'm like, these are really cool. But I'm like, you put in a lot of marketing energy into just making these comedy skits every year.
Yeah, and so I'll talk about this shortly, but they definitely continued that because it was a lot of marketing into this weird like facility building a Suda 51 robot
Mhm.
kind of thing, and it was enjoyable, but it was very much just
It's a
like,
gimmick. I mean, I'm not saying it's a I mean, it's they work hard, but it
yeah.
was
No,
funny the
it is a
first
gimmick.
time 5 years ago.
Yeah. It's a gimmick, and like although yeah, no, I had a good time watching it. Like I found like some parts of it funny. Like there was other parts just like I don't know what's happening here, but they look like they had a good time making it. So I was like, well, at least you guys aren't suffering making this stuff, so that's fine. In terms of the games, I think they had I think they showed like maybe 5 or 6 games. The whole thing was probably 30 minutes long. The actual like um story interludes was probably a total of like 10 minutes out of the 30 minutes. So it was 20 minutes of games. And what they showed, there was a lot of stuff that was really cool looking. So there's a game called Skate Story where you play this like
They said you were a
demon
demon. Yeah.
made of glass and pain, which is so cool. But like I want to see more of the actual gameplay to see because it looks visually, it looks really crazy. Like you don't really know like what's going on, but you can kind of get a sense of like, oh, you can kind of grind on that thing, you can jump off of that thing. I want to see more of that game. Um, there was a game called was it Plucky's Tale, Plucky something.
Yeah.
Uh, that was
Oh, that little
yeah
2D to 3D. Yeah, thingamabobber.
yeah. I am looking for that bad boy right now. Yeah, Plucky's the Plucky Squire. Like that is pretty much the standout game for I think a lot of people where it starts 2D on like a adventure book kind of thing, and then it jumps and the character jumps out of the book and it's like a 3D thing. Like that looks really, really cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna check that out.
Um yeah, and then there was Angerfoot, which looks like my Hotline Miami, but first person. And the story about that is super strange, super weird. But anyways, I actually had a really good time with that showcase, and I was like, "Oh, this is surprising," because I didn't really think too much of it before watching it. But then it as Avery was saying, like him having like a very fond memory of the game shown at the PlayStation Showcase. I had a very fond memory of the game shown here. So yeah, that's cool. They did a good job with that. Then there was other showcases, IGN Expo, Tribeca thing, Day of the Devs, PC Gaming
Yeah.
Show. I watched a bit of the IGN Expo. I watched maybe about 20 minutes of it, and I was like, I don't think I need to watch this. So I literally just stopped watching it. I didn't watch Tribeca. I didn't watch Day of the Devs. I didn't watch the PC Gaming Show. Did any of
I
y'all
watched what
catch?
I felt was important.
Oh, and the IGN show stuff is like that is symptomatic of the Summer Game Fest mantra of when E3
Mhm.
disappeared like IGN, GameSpot, all of them, they make pretty much all their money during E3. And so losing E3 put them all in a weird place and they all had to scramble to make pseudo E3s, but they're an
Yeah.
IGN. They're not going to get big things, so they can only get things that are
Mhm.
either talked about somewhere else or super small, and then they have to sell it to people.
Yeah, they got
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
Sonic exclusive shit.
Oh. Yeah, like they started their show with the Gungrave reboot thing, and I was like, "Yikes! Okay, if you're starting your show with this, that means that like, yeah, I don't really got that much in the tank." Although it did look pretty cool, but it was very much just like, "This is cool because I'm in a vacuum of like any other game right now. Like, what's going on?" But yeah, like yeah, we can skip all that. Let's jump into the Xbox plus Bethesda Game Showcase because that's what we saw and that's fresh in our minds. So let's talk about it.
Wait, you're not talking
Um
about Sonic? I'm just lying. I'm sorry. That's
All right. Let's do Avery. What was your take on the Xbox plus Bethesda to game show thing?
I am uh I didn't watch it with you guys not because how would I say this? I didn't watch it because I knew I wouldn't I didn't want to be a Debbie Downer on the cast if this turned out to be exactly what I thought it would be, which would be
Mhm.
a Game Pass showcase, which I am not the audience for in which then like I'd rather just watch these trailers for games I'm interested in after the fact than watch them
live and
live.
be
Like
disappointed.
So like I only
I
tuned
get
in to the latter half when I woke up because I'm like, you guys are still on. Let me get ready to do this podcast after the fact. So
Right.
so I ended up like going through the trailers and everything like that. And I think as a showcase, especially in the context of what they showed at Summer Game Fest, this is a 4 out of 5, really great, solid showcase. It started strong, ended strong in terms of big games. As
Right.
as me going into it, it's like a 3 out of 5. I think once again it was way too long. There was not like I thought when they said that like, oh, the next 12 months, I was like, oh, we're gonna get some concrete dates on a lot of things. We didn't. It's still a lot of things that could easily not be in the last 12 months, but we're not saying it's gonna be in the next 12 months. So not a lot of dates. I thought that there were absolutely no surprises from a first party standpoint when it comes to Microsoft. Like pretty much the 2 games we knew were going to be there were there, and they showed them off, and I'm like, okay, that's great. I think the Riot, like the 2 big takeaways I have from it, like what got me really excited was the Riot thing and then the Persona thing. The Persona thing, because that is a big get, like a monumental get in terms of like PlayStation mind share in terms of what the Persona franchise actually is. We'll see what happens with Persona 6 going forward, because this could easily be this could be a Final Fantasy 13 turning point for them, where suddenly Xbox is going to go day and date with Persona games. We'll see. And then the Riot, we'll see, because I don't know what the deals are, but we'll see. And the Riot thing was just like, I was not expecting this, knowing for a fact that Riot is now making console games as well. What does that mean going forward with this partnership? As someone who plays a fucking not a shit ton of Valorant, but enough to be like, one of my big things I hate about all these sort of games as a service games is that like I really don't like if I join in this game day one and it's 2 years into the game, there are 6 characters for me to play as. Meanwhile, they've released 15 new players that are characters who are all better than the original 6. Like as a Valorant fan, like the 2 duelists in the game that they give you at launch are Phoenix and Jet. Unless you're the best player in the world, Jet is not the agent you start playing with. And Phoenix hasn't been good since First Strike. So I'm like, that's like I like you're fucked. You're kind of fucked. But like if you're a Game Pass subscriber, you get all the agents, which is really big. And then in terms of the big 2,
how much do they normally cost if you're buying them individually?
$14 to $20. But Valorant, it's all about skins. Catch me buying $100 knife, because that's what happens in Valorant.
$100 night.
Dude, it's like Valorant has the coolest skins in the all time, like just straight up. But man, the price tag really makes you look and like reevaluate your place in life. Because I'm like, do I really need this? But it's a Nerf gun and it makes pop sounds when I shoot it. But it's $150.
Okay, so you see, some people will drop that 150 no problem, but
no, 100%.
Those are considered whales.
$70 for a game is ridiculous.
Dude, it's like Valorant skins are worth it. All I'm saying is, if I had bought the RGX Vandal when it came out in the store, I would be much better at the game. But no, and my final thoughts is that I thought Redfall is exactly what I thought it was going to be, and that's less interesting to me than what I hoped it was going to be. Seems to be a Left 4 Dead style with a slather of Borderlands onto it. It doesn't have the exciting game design that I'm into in an arcane game. That's a wait and see type of game that like if the reviews say like, oh, this is an arcane game, then 100% I will buy it and play it on PC. But if it's like, yeah, it's Left 4 Dead, it's more Back 4 Blood, and I'm like, I don't have 4 friends who are going to play this game, so I'm not going to buy it. And then Starfield just looked like, I knew I would be whelmed by Starfield, and I watched the Starfield trailer and like, I am whelmed by this game. Like, it looks like prettier No Man's Sky. It looks like a more expensive Outer Worlds. It doesn't look like the intense. It doesn't look like the next step of gaming in that genre that I had hoped it would be. and it still very much looks like Bethesda is playing in their bag of like in types of how they design games. Because like after playing Horizon Forbidden West, if you show me conversations with people and they're just standing looking like this into the camera, moving particularly, I'm like, that's boring. Meanwhile, Horizon, every time I go up to a person, they're like, here's a cool camera angle. Here's them moving around the
Yeah,
scene. Here's them engaging me in the conversation. Like,
yeah.
I'm like, that was disappointing. The game looks fine, and I'm pretty sure because like I think the Bethesda audience is going to eat this game up, but it
Yeah.
fundamentally once again looks like, oh, this is going to be another Bethesda main game that I skip.
Mhm.
So yeah, I vacillate between a three. So I'm gonna give it a 3.5. Content with a 3 for me. Actual
Wait, no.
presentation.
Out of 10. Out of 10. Out of 10.
Just double the score, man. 7.
6 point. If I double the score, it's a 6.5.
I'm about to say, yeah.
3.5. All right, man. Whatever.
Yeah.
That's the Common Core math.
Yeah.
That's that bullshit. I'm laughing because or I've been smiling because I'm looking at apparently No Man's Sky is trending after the big Starfield reveal.
Dude, when I saw him farming, and I'm like, and he pulling on a laser, I'm like, this is just No Man's Sky.
A lot of people said, I see one person said No Man's Sky 2 looks good. Somebody said it's like Bethesda saw No Man's Sky and said we could do that, but only about 15% better.
And then nothing with the anvil and the offering to me how I'm gonna feel about this game when it said, hey, look at this big galaxy. We put 1,000 planets in here, and I'm like, ooh, you instantly turned me off on that because you've made this game infinitely big for no real reason, and 100% those 99% of those worlds aren't going to be interesting to visit.
It's kind of like No Man's Sky.
Generated. Yeah, that's exactly.
Well, at least No Man's Sky, like I don't No Man's Sky is correct. Like 99%
I played it at the beginning. It was
but at least No Man's Sky had the procedural generated weird shit of like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Yep. All right, Sean, what was your take on this?
The show as a whole?
Yeah, the Xbox Bethesda Showcase.
I give it 2 thumbs down. So no,
Whoa.
it was decent. It was decent. Once again, nothing made me want to run out and go get an Xbox, but there were some games that I would play if I had an Xbox. So I really don't want to play Xbox games on my phone. Maybe if I attach a computer to the tablet, maybe. But then I'm not sure how many of these games. Yes, they're going to be on Xbox Game Pass, but are they going to be streaming to xCloud? Because they didn't make that designation. Yes, they say most of the games are going to come to xCloud, but that hasn't come to fruition yet.
That's a good point. Okay. And then Jordan, what was your take on this? On the showcase?
I thought, I mean, like, I'm just trying to like think about pacing of it, right? So they began with Redfall and they ended with Starfield. In between, the other first party games were Flight Simulator and DLC for Forza Horizon 5, and also a proper in-game engine gameplay trailer for Forza Motorsport. In terms of racing games, incredibly excited. And as y'all know, I'm a pretty big fan of racing games, and Forza has retained that crown, like at least for the past half decade, with Forza Horizon 6, 7, and Forza Motorsport 6 and 7, and the whole entirety of the Forza Horizon series. Now, going to Redfall, yeah, like many of the sentiments that Avery shared, of it being very much so close to Left 4 Dead or Black 4 Blood, but with specific classes. Back 4 Blood didn't really have classes. They had like gadgets that you can have at the beginning of each run. But this was a game, and this is a fair criticism to make for Game Pass, is a game to which is highly reliant on multiplayer systems. That is what Redfall is set up to be. I think Microsoft may have a partnership, an expectation with Bethesda. You have your, single player experience, but also you got to give us a multiplayer experience. And that is what's allows for the open-endedness of Game Pass to continue, and people to continue to resubscribe to Game Pass if they have those open-ended games like Forza Horizon, and in this situation, most likely like Redfall, there was a lot of launch exclusives. So that you pointed out during our stream, DJ, the Rick and Morty team making a console exclusive that looks pretty
Yeah.
interesting. I don't want to call myself a Rick and Morty fan because Rick and Morty fans are toxic. I enjoy Rick and Morty, and the same humor that they have in that series they're moving over. In terms of Persona, Phil Spencer was a man on a mission, trying to
Right.
break down the wall that Xbox has had that between Xbox and Japan. Though recently, there are reports that the Series S's are doing well in terms of consumer engagement in Japan. The only reason why they're doing well compared to PlayStation is because of the limited stock of PlayStation, in my
Right.
opinion. But you know, this could lead to other Japanese properties being the Final Fantasy series. Like, I thought that Final Fantasy VII Remake would
Evan
finally.
Remake, yeah, would be here. I thought that as well, and I was shocked when once again it's year 3 of that game, and we've heard nothing of when it's coming to Xbox.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'm not really super surprised on that, just for the fact that Final Fantasy 16 was shown at PlayStation, so I'm pretty sure PlayStation has a pretty tight grip on that game, and it's
But like,
not technically done, I guess, because it's in parts or whatever. So
now that's. I mean, I get that, but like we also live in a world where 15 was on or was all like the last game was on all platforms.
that's true. So that's a good point. But yeah, sorry, Jordan, continue.
No, no, no. I was just trying to find anything else I wanted to point out.
Mm,
And I can't really think of anything right now. But if I were to, yeah, there's nothing else right now. I would probably give it between 7.5 and 8, the same
yeah,
rating I gave it during the stream. I think, and as a final point, I would only compare this with the PlayStation Showcase last fall. I wouldn't compare this with the state of play, at least in terms of its intent. It's something to get energized for their fiscal year. I don't know if Sony's running on the same fiscal year. They may be running on a calendar year cadence with how they release and how they orient when they market their products. But comparatively, the Sony
I'll text Jim
PlayStation
Ryan and find out for you for sure.
comparatively, the PlayStation Showcase, really set the bar, at least going into this generation of, in terms of excitement with Wolverine and Spider-Man 2 and all that shit.
Mm,
But what I will say is compared to last year's Xbox Showcase, it felt like there was more energy Game Pass wise going into it.
yeah,
While this time around, a lot of the Game Pass energy is at the end of it, like going into the remainder of this year into next winter, which I do find a little bit fascinating. Like it felt like it was very clear, like the Game Passness of the spring summertime right now. But now it seems like they wanted to have more energy after the showcase than before Game Pass wise, which I think may play off.
yeah,
Yeah, I think to we had this conversation earlier, like when the big 2 game for Xbox is fall, which I always knew I always knew RedFall wasn't going to be this year, and I was beating the drum at the beginning of the year that Starfield wouldn't make this year, especially when all the content we saw of that game was here's a 3-hour dev conversation and we showed you a slide. Was the tenor? I was like neither. I was like, what is they going to do for the end of the year? And what I figured would happen was, all right, let's put the whole hand into Game Pass in regards to, all right, we're just going to put more and more money into making Game Pass an attractive service for the next year. And I think they did a really good job, if you're a Game Pass subscriber, of being like, okay, here's your offerings for Game Pass. But like, I'm very curious. Like, I'm very curious on what the tenor is for going to be. They've their marketing teams have come out and say we're hoping for at least 5 first party studio games every year, and like we're going to be working on those cylinders. But we are year
Right.
3 or
Two,
4
two,
in.
two and 2.5. Both came out like fall 2020.
Yeah,
So yeah.
we're but in when was the Microsoft big acquisitions where we're when was that press conference? Because like we're 3 or 4 years into, okay, when is the shoe going to drop and Xbox finally starts getting big first party games?
I would say between 2018 and 19, maybe like
Yeah,
right before the Bethesda purchase, when they were like, the first wave. I think that um, that holiday when Phil Spencer announced Ninja Theory and others coming together, that was when they were like, we're
yeah,
going to
yeah,
uh,
yeah.
speed up the process of first parties. And
Something I also
yeah,
want to shout out is fuck, I forgot it, and I thought this was super cool during the press conference, and I wanted to shout out, but I forgot it now. My mind is sludge.
Mm.
Oh. But yeah, while Avery remembers that, I'm gonna do it. Yeah, hey listener, do us a solid again. If you hadn't did it earlier. If you didn't, that's shame on you. That's hurtful. I don't know why you just didn't do it the first time. But yeah, if you haven't, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and the notification bell. Because if you do those three things, you'll make us very happy people. And you want us to be happy because if we're happy, we
Oh,
make
okay,
good
yeah, yeah.
content.
The
Make
Overwatch
content.
2,
Okay, cool,
yeah,
cool.
I figured it out. Okay, it was two things. The Overwatch 2 stuff is actually cool, and Overwatch going free to play is actually super interesting, and I need to know more about what that means going forward, and it's really cool to see the Junker Queen in her flesh after, once again, 5 years of that character being a thing that we knew about. And then
Mm.
the biggest cap of the press conference was the Hideo Kojima thing,
hmm
where I
Mm.
was like, you made this big thing. You and Sarah Bond, you came out like the next 12 months of Xbox, and then you came Hideo Kojima like, I'm making a game. I've got nothing to show.
Yeah, that was super weird. That was super weird. Like, yeah, okay. Are you good?
Yeah, yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Yeah. So, my take on this the Xbox Bethesda Games Showcase, I think it was a very very solid showing. I think it was long, but I guess because we went through the gauntlet of the Summer Game Fest, it didn't feel as long. So I was just kind of vibing, enjoying the trailers. I think a majority of the trailers they showed were strong trailers, so that definitely helped in terms of the time passing. Um,
And they had less
High on
people
Life,
just talking as well.
yeah, exactly, yeah. High on Life was for sure like my game of this show. I thought the trailer was fantastic. I really enjoyed the humor. It also looked really, really good. So I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye out on that game. Um, I also think Plague Tale Requiem, that was pretty cool. I hear you guys talk a lot about Plague Tale 1.
Yes.
So that yeah, I'm gonna see if I had downloaded that and maybe
Mm.
maybe
If you
give it a
didn't, I
go.
will give you the money to buy it because that is one of my favorite games of the franchise on the platform.
Okay, okay. And then the Overwatch 2 thing I thought was cool. That was a pop. I really, really enjoyed watching I'm scrolling. Yeah. The Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheel stuff. That looked so ridiculous. And I really enjoy when you do a little bit of the fantastical in a realistic setting and just having the crazy tracks just all over the place and you just kind of
Yeah,
focus on the foreground. Yeah.
it's a
Like
DLC that was introduced back in Forza Horizon 3, and they brought it back. The fans loved it the
mhm.
first time around.
Mhm. Yeah. I'm a little disappointed in Arc 2, as I said in the actual showcase. I was really hoping Vin Diesel would just actually voice one of the dinosaurs. I think that would have been
Or Drift
a really
Dinosaur.
cool right? Drifting. Yeah. Um
That game has big "We have Horizon Zero Dawn at home" energy.
yeah. Oh, I can't. Oh, yeah, you're right. I cannot get that out of my head now. Yeah. I think the Diablo 4 trailer that was super cool. The
I
necromancer
totally forgot
thing.
they showed that.
Yep. There was a lot. I was like, "Oh, is this Avowed? Like, what's going on here?" And it turned out just to be a new class. Like, all right, cool, cool, cool. I thought that was really cool. I think they had a lot of different pops for a lot of different people. Oh, yes, I'm interrupting my sentence to interrupt myself to talk about Wulong Final Destiny.
Ah,
I don't. This looks like
Chinese
Dynasty
Neo.
Warriors
It's
meets
Chinese
like
Neo.
it's trying. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right. All
it's
right.
from the same team
All
that
right.
made Neo, and it's I guess because Neo was very PlayStation or I guess leaning. This is going to be
Yeah,
Xbox. We're taking China this time.
I see. So that was Lubu at the end then.
Yeah, that was Lubu.
Okay.
I
All
was
right.
popping the fuck off. I saw it
Yeah.
doing the horse
Yeah.
with the feathers. I'm like, oh, that's fucking
Yep.
awesome.
That was dope. The Persona thing would have been a pop for me, but I was actually listening to Jeff Grubb's Game Mess podcast, and
Mhm.
he had the scoop on Persona being at the showcase. I was like, oh, cool. I meant to actually post it in a Discord, but I totally forgot because I was dealing with London at the same time. Yeah, the Kojima thing was weird. I thought that was going to be more of a showing of something versus him just talking. Because like when he was talking, I was talking with you guys, so I completely didn't read the caption. And when it jumped to like more Xbox stuff, I was like, "What? You-
Did
You're
I
not
miss
showing? You're not even
something?
showing like concept art? Like what's going on here?" So yeah, so that was that. Um, to end with Starfield, I think Starfield showed very well. I think that was a very good trailer. I think that for all the Bethesda people who are wondering or who were kind of, scared that this game might not be the game of their dreams, it definitely showed up and I'm pretty sure it's going to be the game of their dreams. Um as a person who played and still plays No Man's Sky from time and time again, this game feels like a prettier No Man's Sky, and I think the combat doesn't necessarily like the combat in No Man's Sky is not great. The combat watching in this didn't really sell it for me, especially, when we have premium first person shooters. And it's just like this, the combat's not really the bag here. I think another thing that I'm kind of just like, sure, because even you guys explained it, but the whole like there's no alien races at all. It's all humans. I think for me, that just feels weird if we're in outer space and we're in deep outer space where we just
Well,
don't have
I mean,
alien.
theoretically speaking, in the astronomically speaking, the chances of intelligent alien races are very slim that we could
Yeah,
interact with in our known solar system. But I get what you mean from the fantasy of you're making a video game in games like Mass Effect exists that alien
yeah,
races would be expected.
yeah. But like we also have like I think it's like 400 accounts of UFOs that just released. So it's like
You're one of those people.
it, I mean,
Mm.
yeah. So like, I think it's just to me that feels weird because I think No Man's Sky was kind of my first step into these kind of exploration games, and I enjoyed the environment, not the environment. I enjoyed like the premise of that game so much, where it's just like not seeing at least alien contact. I mean, maybe there is alien contact in this game, and that's kind of just like the
Surprise.
yeah,
They're
the bomb
leaving.
drop or whatever. And it's like, okay, that's cool. Because like more than likely they didn't show everything. Of course, they didn't show everything. It's just the first trailer
I
of it. So
I I doubt there's aliens
oh
in the
yeah, no,
game.
I'm totally doubting that that's the case as well. But I'm just saying, like, maybe Bethesda had another ace up their sleeve. But yeah, overall, I think this was a strong showing. If I were to rate it, I would probably keep in line with the 7.5, 8-ish range. Um, yeah. That's kind of where I'm at. All right, so
I want to give a quick shout out that when they showed the riot stuff, they showed some of the VCT situation. And as a Sentinels fan who had a really bad year, our team was imploded, and it's like the year of tens is over. It was really nice to see him, Shaz, Dapper, Zoms, and Sick just in happier times.
all right, so out of all these showcases, where would you guys we can all agree that the Summer Game Fest probably was the worst, right? From all the showcases
Of the
that we've
worst,
seen.
yeah, of the ones I watched, yes.
Yeah, okay. What would you guys think is like it's the crown? Like what's getting the crown this year?
Uh,
Me being biased, PlayStation.
Yeah,
I
you
just had more
PlayStation
stuff that appealed to me,
appeal to you,
and
yeah.
they're not even exclusives per se, like Sony first party type stuff. But Street
Yeah.
Fighter was, I'm sure Xbox will get it. But as far
Yeah.
as conferences with things shown, had Street Fighter, had Final Fantasy. Uh,
Mhm.
I forget everything I had at the moment, but more stuff appealed to me there.
Yeah. Avery?
it goes the Sony showcase, the Xbox Bethesda showcase, and then the Summer Game Fest showcase. I think to Sean's point, one I like as a presentation. It was the Sony press conference. It was 30 minutes. It didn't waste my time. It had a bunch of surprises, big games, and to my earlier point, I remember everything there. The Bethesda Microsoft showcase. It was a Game Pass showcase, so it instantly lost me there. There are the two big games that they showed off. I'm not the most hyped for. I'm interested in I'm interested in Redfall because I love Arcane, but Starfield looks like a miss to me. It was for me. It was way too long. I feel like they could have easily cut out a bunch of stuff in that press conference, especially knowing that they were going to do a second 90-minute showcase in like 4 days later. I was like looking at the clock and like, oh, okay, this is a bit too long. But ultimately, it was a well put together showcase that didn't drag. It just could have easily been leaner. And then I've made my feelings of the Keighley showcase, but it's now a 1 out of 10.
It's now 1 out of 10.
No, 1 out of 10. Jeff needs to know what he did wrong.
And Jordan?
Number one goes to that Sonic showcase. Get yourself some Sonic jewelry and some Sonic snacks. No, but
Sonic drip.
seriously, yes, the Sonic drift. That was interesting.
Mm.
But yeah, number one, I wanted to say the Xbox showcase number one because like when you say the PlayStation showcase, you mean the state of play or
Yeah,
the
the
one
state of
that?
play.
Yeah,
We're talking about the state of play.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So one of the Xbox showcase
go
because it had some more. I'm sorry.
No, you continue. Sorry.
No, I said the Xbox showcase because it actually had some world premieres in there, at least games that we
Mhm.
didn't know about beforehand.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean personally, the Forza Motorsport and Horizon stuff truly, it hits in what I truly enjoy. Second will be a
Gotcha.
PlayStation State of Play, which had its own surprises, but it was really unique. That being Spider-Man coming to PC and Stray coming to the PlayStation Premium service, which I did find interesting, and also the migration of Tunic into the PlayStation platform. That was unexpected, but I mean it was going to happen.
Yeah.
And then probably Devolve. I mean, he, I'll just have Devolver Digital be an appendix. I didn't watch it, so I'm not gonna rank it. But
Okay.
yeah, the summer showcase is probably lowest too. Seeing that I didn't even watch that one either.
Yeah. Yeah, that was not good. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I it's kind of weird for me. I think for me, I might put Devolver Digital first. I think I might put Devolver Digital first, and then put PlayStation State of Play and the Xbox Game Showcase tied for second, and then do the other showcases, and then put Summer Game Fest Showcase, so Jeff Keighley can know that he should never do something like this again. But I think the Devolver Digital Showcase, they only showed 5 games. I looked it up to make sure. And each of those games appealed to me in some way, and I thought it was very interesting, and it just worked for me. Like, the first game they showed was Call to the Lamb. I think that looks hilarious, and I'm actually going to play that game. They show Angerfoot, which looked really cool, looked really crazy. They showed Card Shark. They showed the Plucky Squire, which I talked about earlier, and they showed Skate Story, which I also talked about earlier. I think those 5 games was there. I mean, none of them are AAA games, but they had such a presentation to them that I found very interesting and very like intriguing.
Mhm.
So, you know, I guess also it goes into the fact that like I didn't have any rumors on any of these games at all either. So
Well,
this is all a surprise to me.
yeah, I get that.
Yeah. So yeah, okay. Well that's pretty much our talk on the Summer Game Fest. With that being said, this has been another episode of Press X Start Podcast. We hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we enjoy making it. Don't forget to rate reviews on your favorite podcasting app because every little bit counts. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and notification button because every click counts. Yeah, I just made that up in my head right here, right in between my hair. Like you see, right there. That's where it came from. Oh yeah, I messed up my hair. Dang. Yeah, so with that being said, you take care, you have a good time, you play some games, you wash your hands and put that mask on because COVID's still out here beating people up.